Hello, and welcome to this review of the Scoundrels of St. James historical romance book series by Lorraine Heath. I'm Olivia, your favorite resource for book recommendations you can easily screenshot. You're watching Random Olive Reads. We start off with In Bed with the Devil, which is book one of the series. Luke is known as the Devil Earl and does not actually believe that he's the rightful Earl. As a young man, he was arrested for murder, and when the old Earl came to confront the boy who killed his son, the old man believed to have found his long lost grandson instead. Luke didn't actually believe himself to be the old man's grandson, but used the opportunity to better his circumstances and that of his friends. With Luke's devilish reputation and the gossip surrounding his activities, Catherine has come to call and ask him to murder someone on her behalf. She refuses to tell him who she needs killed, but the reader knows that it is the cruel and abusive husband of her best friend. Somehow, Luke and Catherine strike a bargain where he will do her bidding if he helps his longtime love Franny learn society rules so that Franny will accept his marriage proposal. It's a twisty mess of emotions since it's clear that Luke and Catherine are attracted to each other, and as they spend more time together, it's obvious that they'll fall in love. But Luke is still attached to his childhood affection for Franny. We also get to confront the man that Catherine wants killed, as well as discover whether Luke is the rightful Earl. Between the Devil and Desire is book two of the series. Widowed Duchess Olivia finds that her late husband has left the guardianship of her son and the ownership of her house to renowned scoundrel and gambling hell owner Jack Dodger. She is aghast at the situation and strives to be proper in all things, except that she's distracted by her own physical attraction towards the man. Jack had been abandoned by his mother, abused by an older gentleman, and then survived on the streets before his friend Luke was found to be an Earl's grandson, and Jack came along for a proper education. Upon receiving a windfall, Jack opens his gambling hell and makes his fortune from aristocrats' losses. He is just as curious as Olivia as to why a near stranger would have entrusted his son to Jack's care, so Jack sets his investigator friend on the case. As Jack and Olivia navigate their new proximity to each other, Olivia starts to see how she has misjudged Jack since he's basically the best guardian ever to her son. As much as they both try to resist each other, that can only last so long. Surrender to the Devil is book three of the series. Sterling, who is Catherine's brother, is a new duke who has been traveling for many years and newly back in England. At his sister's wedding, he is intrigued by Franny being surrounded by her scoundrel friends in a protective manner. Of course, he decides that he's attracted to her and propositions her almost immediately. Meanwhile, Franny is also intrigued by the man who looks at her with desire instead of concern and protection. She grew up in the streets, was sold into a brothel at age 12 before being rescued, and has not been interested in a man at all since then. While she initially rejects Sterling's proposition, she is certainly considering it. Franny and Sterling continue to orbit around each other in various ways, but Sterling starts to become impressed by Franny's selflessness and care towards orphans. Even though we both know that Sterling is not willing to marry Franny, they still slowly end up falling in love. Midnight Pleasures with a Scoundrel is book four of the series. Eleanor is a Viscount's daughter in London to avenge her sister's death by seeking revenge against the lord who ruined her. That lord believes he's wrongfully being pursued, so he involves Scotland Yard for his protection. James Swindler is an investigator who grew up on the streets after his father was hanged for stealing and is now tasked with following Eleanor around. When they meet, each is hiding their true reason for being out and about, and they start a flirtation. James feels guilty for deceiving Eleanor, but Eleanor knows that James is following her, and she aims to seduce him into protecting her. With the underlying lies forming the foundation of their relationship, it'll be curious to see how they can have a lasting one. We get a massive plot twist halfway through the book that adds another layer of complexity to the story, which is super fun to read. And finally, The Last Wicked Scoundrel is book five of the series and also a novella. Widow Duchess Winnie, who is Catherine's best friend from book one, thinks she might be going mad because she keeps losing track of her items and catches glimpses of her late husband's scent around the house. When she confides this information to William, the physician who saved her life many years ago, he rallies his scoundrel friends to protect her. Turns out that her husband might not be so dead after all, since the scoundrels sent him away and faked his death at the end of book 1. Winnie and William have developed a long-standing attraction for each other over the years, and they finally make a move towards a physical relationship, even if William knows that he can't marry someone so far above his station. This one was a pretty short and quick novella, and it's always good catching up with other characters from earlier on the series. So this one was another fun and twisty series from Lorraine Heath with all sorts of interesting reveals about the characters of the series. We are tied together here by the street scoundrels who have a friendship forged in tough circumstances, and all of them have found legitimate positions within society. It was great seeing them rally around each other and protect each other at all costs. Thank you so much for watching this video. Links to all of these books are in the description box. Like and subscribe to get updates, and you can follow me on Instagram @randomolive.